Hey y'all, it's your girl Claudia Jordan, and we are back with TGIF. We're here to spill the tea and break down the biggest headlines in the news and on social media. And later on the show, y'all, we are chatting with a talented actor and singer, Leon. So it's going to be a great show. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to sip on this hot tea. Please welcome Al Reynolds and Armand Wiggins. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
What's going on, Claudia?
Hey, good. Armand, you good?
What's going on? Yes, I'm feeling fantastic, and we're all sitting pretty in blue.
So y'all both have on light blue. Is that like baby blue?
Yeah, but it might be looking purple. But yeah, it's blue.
Okay. It looks like a coordinated thing here. Was it coordinated?
Yeah, I think the energy is just energying today. Like the synergy is real.
All right. Well, let's get into these hot topics. We have a lot of show for you all tonight. I want to hurry up and get to this. We've talked a lot about teachers acting up in the classrooms, but these two classrooms are going viral for their Michael Jackson and Jackie Robinson tributes. How talented are these young children, and have you seen these students trending on social media? Armand, what do you think about this?
First of all, I think that this is amazing. I love this because we always talk about, teachers doing bad things and touching little kids and kids beating up teachers. So for them to be celebrated like this and showcasing these young kids with talent, it's amazing. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. I'll probably be in the gutters of Twitter and all the drama and tea. So I missed this one. But thanks, shout out to our good producers on the show for shining light on this. And we need to do more of these things because we don't really see this stuff. I always see the bad stuff. So it's really good that we highlight things like this on the show.
It is nice to get some good news out the way. I think that's going to set the tone. Al, what do you think about these talented children?
Oh, I think like Amon said, this is like really just amazing to watch. And you know what? That's one of the reasons why I love working here at Fox Soul. We do what other networks don't and cover great stories about people of color and Black excellence that they don't. And it's good. Listen, this isn't just only about good teachers. This is a great story about good students doing something positive and showcasing their talents. And I'm here for it every day.
Okay, well, from a positive story to something not so positive, Hunter Biden has been found guilty on 3 felony gun charges after it was concluded that he violated laws meant to prevent drug addicts from owning firearms. Do you see this impacting President Joe Biden's presidential campaign? That's my question. But real quick, a note, Hunter Biden could face up to 25 years in prison and a fine of up to $750,000 at sentencing, though he will likely receive far less than a maximum as a first-time offender. Al, let's go to you first.
Oh, absolutely don't think this is going to affect his ability to run for president. Let me tell you something. I have really enjoyed how Joe Biden has been very vulnerable. He and his wife have been very vulnerable. They've been very transparent, and they've been very honest about their son's drug use and about him having to take responsibility for those years in which he was dealing or battling with those addictions. I do think because they were so transparent and that they were in front of the story, that it hit a little bit different when the verdict came through. Also, it has no choice but to hit different when you have a whole other past president, future running mate, who just was convicted of 34 felonies.
Okay, Armand, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I agree with Al, and I also think it humanizes Biden in a way too, and people feel like, wow, we can relate. They've got the dog biting people, they got the son going to jail. Like, there's some real people out there. So at the end of the day, I don't think this will affect them, but I do feel like the Republican Party will try to use this as a weapon against him, and we'll see how they have to angle it during the election. But I don't think that it's going to really affect him in that sense.
I think this isn't going to benefit the Republicans as much as they think. If anything, I think it could backfire because, hear me out on this. Trump just got convicted, 34 felons, and all the Republicans did was complain about how the system is rigged against Republicans. The fact that a president did not step in and try to interfere with this investigation and Hunter was actually convicted shows that it was a fair trial, because if he was going to use his powers, Biden, use his powers to go after Trump, quote unquote, he would definitely use those same powers to save his son. So I think it kind of deads that argument from the Republican Party. It kind of makes it look like, well, what you got to say now? And you see they're really quiet. So, all right. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the curse that keeps on giving. During a recent appearance, you won't believe who she compared Donald Trump to. Take a look.
And the fake news media want to constantly talk about, oh, President Trump is a convicted felon. Well, you want to know something? The man that I worship is also a convicted felon.
You shocked by her antics, Armand?
No, honestly, I'm over it because at this point she's doing this to trend. Because what has Jesus got to do with this? I mean, and she picks these like hot button trigger topics to just blurt out. First, it was comparing Trump to George Floyd. Now Jesus. So this is just to get us riled up and talking. She's an idiot, and I'm just over it.
Shout out to production for using the picture of Black Jesus too, the more accurate
Yeah.
depiction of actual Jesus. Al, what do you think about this and Marjorie Taylor Greene's antics?
I think her antics are a direct effect of Trump politics. I mean, we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene has only been in the political game since 20? It's less than 4 years, and she's gained a popularity based on how she speaks to the fan base the same way that Trump does, and she riles them up. It's fake politics to me, and if I'm really being honest, she shouldn't even be covered as much as she's being covered with the craziness that comes out of her mouth.
I agree.
Maya said Marjorie has lost her mind, but when does she have one? Nathan said, so that was the only thing her team could come up with, Jesus? To be in front of that audience and to say that Jesus was a convicted felon and therefore that's how she can relate it to Trump. These people are in a cult and they refuse to admit it. You're in a cult. The fact that you keep moving the goalposts every time something comes up against your boy shows that you are blindly following something and nothing he does can change your mind. Therefore, you are in a cult. You are controlled and you don't even know it. Well, maybe you do and you like it. It's to the point where now dictatorship isn't wrong. They will twist themselves into a pretzel to make everything he says be okay. Even the evangelists that claim to be so religious now, they're just like okay with an adulterer, a cheater, a man that's been found liable of rape. Okay. All right, Marjorie. Gary Busey in the face. Okay. Actor Michael Rainey Jr. recently spoke out after a video surfaced online during a live stream displaying him being unwantedly touched by a popular online streamer, Talil James' sister. Take a look.
Everybody in here has worked a job, has more than $1 million. Y'all have never worked, y'all never did nothing. Y'all literally have 5 minutes of max in here. Then y'all gotta get out, okay?
Talil released a statement. What she did was very inappropriate and unacceptable. I am truly embarrassed and disgusted. I completely respect whatever direction Michael wants to go in this situation. And Michael released a statement saying, I am still in shock and don't fully know how to process what happened. This is an unfortunate situation that I do not condone. I can't take it lightly because I know I would be in serious trouble if the roles were reversed. I 100% agree. What are your thoughts and what's a fair consequence for the women who committed these acts, Al?
I thought that the way these two gentlemen stepped up to the plate and leaned into this conversation was exceptional for their age. I thought it showed maturity and I thought it showed a lot of accountability. I liked the rawness and the transparency of Michael when he said, I'm shocked. I can't give you an answer. I don't really know what to do. I'm still processing my feeling. And Talil stepped up and said, listen, this just wasn't good all around and I'm going to support my boy. I find those type of very mature conversations coming from these young men opens up our eyes and ears to understand this generation better, and I'm enjoying every second of it. What's the appropriate, reprimand for the young lady that did it? I think this right here is probably enough. I'm probably sure she's learned her lesson, and she's probably embarrassed more than anything because this has become a huge, dark conversation on social media.
Okay, Armand, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel like he needs to prosecute. He needs to press charges and he needs to sue Talil too, because at the end of the day, if the shoe were on the other foot, he would have no career. You know, his show is out now on Stars and we're all watching it. Had this been the other way around, that poor show would have been pulled off of the channels and he would have had no career. So it's not even about the money, it's the principle in it. And these days, all the black men in Hollywood are being attacked and coming down and being spoken out against. So, hey, you got to make an example of these women. You can't do what you want to do. And at the end of the day, he needs to press charges because they would have been pressed on him.
Yeah.
Now, how old is she is my question. How old is she? Do we know?
I don't know. I feel like she was a little underage. I don't know, though, so I can't really say.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Armand. I mean, sexual harassment is sexual harassment, no matter who does it. And the fact that she was that comfortable to do that on camera, like, did she think that she was so sexy that she was going to kind of sway him or it was okay? And some people are that arrogant that think, well, it's me, I'm good looking, or I'm a woman, or I'm a man sometimes. Like they think because of who they are, it is okay. It's not okay. And I think this was trash. And I hope there are some repercussions for her. I don't know if she should be prosecuted. That's for her, for the victim to decide. But I just thought it was really, really, really tacky. And putting your brother in jeopardy, like, what are you doing? Like, you're affecting other people when you do this. All right, Jared.
And she was doing that in front of other little kids and other little girls. So for me, that's
true.
what makes it uncomfortable, because why are you doing this around your other little girls? So what are you teaching them? Like, what's going on there?
Trash behavior. Jared said the fact that she felt so comfortable to do this on camera is even more disgusting. Lakeisha said the same thing. Kids were present. Who raised her? And Sierra said that wasn't even groupie behavior. It's stalker. I wouldn't trust her around any man. Do a full-on investigation.
Ooh.
All right. 50 Cent spoke out regarding the matter and made light of the very serious situation, saying, wait, sexual assault? From a male perspective, that was an aggressive advance. LOL. He's fine. No charges are being pressed. What advice would you give to 50 Cent and other men like him on taking this more seriously? Go ahead, Al.
I think the young dudes set the tone of what the advice I would give. This is the time and space to create a conversation around it instead of saying that it's okay. And obviously 50 Cent comes from a different generation. And of course, he's probably had this happen to him, on countless times because of the admiration around him as a rapper. But if there was any advice that I could give to him, is like, read the room a little bit better, especially the two guys who were in the room and not you. And they clearly are telling you that it wasn't okay. So you to say that it's okay and you are a leader in this industry could send mixed messages to the youth. And I'm not sure that I can support that.
This is kind of on brand for 50 Cent, though. He's kind of like, he's always puts out that ultra hyper masculine, come on, you being soft. And I didn't expect him to give an emotional or sensitive response to this. But 50, I think you're wrong on this. I think you are looked at as a very masculine man in society, and you have a huge following. You're very successful. I think it would have been a good time to, not be petty and not try to get a laugh, although you are low-key a comedian out there. But I do think it's not taking this guy's abuse seriously. Armand, what do you think?
Yeah, and I personally, to add to that, I think this is the reason why there are so many toxic and mentally unstable Black men out there, because they have to, mentally and emotionally, because they have to harbor everything inside. You could clearly see from that video that boy was not comfortable with that. He was not turned on. It was very, very awkward. But then you go and see your boss, 50 Cent, like, hey, it wasn't a big deal. Shake it off. So now he has to internally deal with that and be strong, like, hey, that's what happens with us men. It's just a woman. It's not a big deal. But let it have been me or Al groping him, then it would have been a problem. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just feel as though you need to handle it the same way you would handle it if it was a man doing that to a woman or another man doing that to another man. At the end of the day, it's not okay because it's a woman doing it, because the trauma is still there.
Yeah,
and
I guess,
go ahead.
No. I was liking where you were going with this. I think the other side of that, Armand, which I agree with you, is would he be protecting him if the role was reversed? Mm-hmm. Would he be so protective of saying, oh, he worked for 50 Cent. Oh, my boy, he grabbed her. It was just an aggressive advance. Would he be protecting his colleague if he had done it to a woman? So that's the question that I also pose in this situation.
I like that too. And I just don't think that it's fair. And I think that when we talk about protection, I think that Black heterosexual men are not really protected in that way either when it comes to sexual assault from women. That we're always told that they have to be tough and, and start young. Like, where's Boosie? Where's the outrage? So for me, it's not okay.
And also, I do like that from this, other conversations can be had. Like the fact, the way he reacted when he got grabbed, his initial response was to laugh and not immediately say, don't touch me. And I think a lot of times when women do that, when they're assaulted, people blow it off like, oh, you liked it or you were okay. I think now maybe some men will understand that sometimes that's just a nervous response to something bad that's happening to you. Sometimes people laugh when things are uncomfortable and they don't know what else to do and they're playing nice. That's what I think. And yeah, she was wrong. And 50
because he left immediately, they said.
Naisha said 50 Cent says don't press charges, but didn't he file lawsuits for less criminal offenses that happened to him, like defamation? And Caleb said maybe she took a note out of Trump's book by grabbing someone by the junk. And Cameron said 50 Cent has always hit or miss. Sometimes he stands up, and sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth. All right, y'all, don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we are chopping it up with the amazing Leon. And later, Monique and Lee Daniels have teamed up again. Wow, on a new project. Find out what it is when we return. Keep it locked.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, y'all. Tonight we are joined by one of the smoothest actors in Hollywood who starred in some of your favorite films and TV shows, ranging from Showtime's City on a Hill to Waiting to Exhale, Above the Rim, and we cannot forget the 5 Heartbeats. Please welcome Leon. Leon, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good. How you doing? Good to see you, as always.
You are so smooth. You are 24/7 smooth, too.
I appreciate that.
All right, I'm going to read some of the comments here because when we announced that you were going to be on the show, the comments lit up for you, and it is a lot. Like, they are going ham for you right now. So I want to let you know and give you your flowers, of course. So, Leon, let's get right into it. Now, Leon, the month of June is devoted to Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. How are you managing your mental health in today's wild and crazy climate?
I think it's important to stay grounded, and I think it's really important to know who you are. I think so many times people are scattered. They let their minds run wild. They let the world take over for their own thoughts. And I think it's important to be grounded, to know who you are, to spend time with yourself, to explore who you are. And more importantly, I think the best thing for your mental health is to like yourself.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. We all said, ooh.
Look at everybody all mesmerized. Everybody like,
we're over here hanging on every word you said.
We're like this.
Leon, speaking of mental health, we got to take a trip back down memory lane to your starring role in Above the Rim in 1994. What did your role as Shep teach you about mental health and ways to manage trauma as a Black man?
Now, can I ask you, did you read yesterday's New York Times?
I did not.
Oh, because there's a whole article about that.
Oh, cool.
It's about
who's the writer?
I'd have to look it up. But I can send it to you afterwards if you want.
Okay,
but the whole thing is that he was saying the 1994 Above the Rim, how it registers with us today as opposed to what it did then. And it has a whole other that now that we are conscious about mental health.
Right.
And in Above the Rim, that's exactly what was happening. My character Shep had emotional trauma that he was trying to deal with on his own. And I think that now, if you watch that movie, that is the main focus of the movie. That we are exploring our mental health. We're seeing someone who was traumatized by something that he never really got over.
Got it. And then we didn't talk about it as Black men. You know,
Oh no, hell
we
no.
held it all in and tried to figure it out on our own.
Oh yeah, you tell your parents you going to therapy, they're like, you better give me that money. I'll talk to you.
Right, it's so true.
That's definitely what my dad said. Now, all right,
Yeah.
now let's switch gears a little bit. Now you're playing a street savvy attorney in season 6 of the hit show, The Chi. But first, let's take a look at the new season.
I think it'll be good for me.
Just be careful.
Think of it as an investment.
I know how to play the game.
That's what everybody thinks until they lose.
Just trust me. I got this.
I never should have sent a boy to do a woman's job.
Okay, that looks spicy. Now, what can you tell us about your role and your overall experience working with such a star-studded cast?
Well, I mean, my role is of Alonzo Lafayette, and he's the type of attorney that gangsters like because he helps them get off. And so, working with a talented cast, I mean, I hope most of the times I'm working with a talented cast. I hope so. But, it was a chance to work with Lynn Whitfield, who I've known for years, who's an amazing actress. And, for me, a trained actor who's been doing a lot of work, it's one of the major things I look for. It's like, who do I get to spar with? Can we make some magic here? And so, I think it's really fantastic what Lena Waithe has done with The Chi. I mean, it's got renewed for its 7th season, a show about us, for us. That's amazing, for a major company like Showtime and Paramount Plus. So, for me to add some sparkle to the show, to add anything I can to a show that's about us, why not if I'm free? So I enjoyed it. I love the whole production, the people she has on there. I love the fact that she has so many female directors and writers, and a lot of them giving them their first chance to really do things. It was a pleasure.
Well, Leon, your character Alonzo is not only a charming attorney, but also has ties to Alicia, who is played by the phenomenal Lynn Whitfield, as you mentioned. I know that's a friend of yours. So how was it working alongside Lynn Whitfield again?
Well, I haven't worked with her before. We've been in the same production, but we didn't have any scenes together. So it was great. It was great. I think as soon as they said action, it was on. It was like a little dance. So, and I like to dance with good people.
Speaking of dancing, Leon, outside of acting, you're hitting the summer stages with your band, Leon and the Peoples. Tell me, what was the inspiration behind your group?
Wow, the inspiration behind my group. We consider ourselves like the Sly and the Family Stones of reggae. A mix and blend between reggae and soul music. And I was originally in this band called the Young Lions, but they wanted to play just cover songs. I wanted to do original music. And then so I started my own band called the Peoples. And then after a while, I had to pull a David Ruffin on them and call us Leon and the Peoples because we got better shows that way.
Leon, I want to ask you, we have a fan, actually a question from a viewer. Who that PYT says, you're raising a queer daughter. Leon, what advice would you give to parents struggling with that are struggling with that? Any advice?
Well, I don't think that's accurate, that I'm a queer daughter. That's one. I think they got that mistaken. But I can tell you this much. I love my daughter more than life itself. And as long as she's happy and whatever she's doing, I'm daddy to her and to support her. And I think that we should do that with all our kids. I mean, don't support them to do anything illegal or dumb, but someone's sexuality, that's their own thing.
Leon, I hang out with your daughter quite a bit, and you are.
What you doing hanging out with my daughter?
I know.
You know she lives here in Los Angeles.
Wait a second. We done changed the whole tone of the show now.
I got all the friends.
And listen, you are an incredible father, and you just keep up the great work with her. She's an exceptional young lady with a very strong mind. You and Cynthia have done an amazing job with her, and it's just amazing to hang out with someone who were fathered and parented by you two.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you saying that because people always ask me what's my favorite role, and I always tell them it's being Noelle's daddy.
Absolutely.
She's like wise beyond her years too, and that's an amazing girl. So All right.
Well,
Leon.
the thing is now what's really crazy, and you appreciate this because you know Cynthia. Cynthia's doing one of these shows where you can't be in contact with her. So Paul calls me right away. I'm on the tennis court. Says, Dad, Mom is going to not be, I can't be in touch with Mom for the next 2 weeks. So you know what that means.
You're on duty.
I say, yeah, I know. I'm Mom and Dad now.
You're on duty.
And her life, like, if you follow Noelle's page, it's always an Aspen, a New York, a fashion. Like, it's like she's had a fabulous life since she was like a baby. Like, she's.
I joined. Yeah.
She's doing her thing.
Yeah, she's having a great life, better life than I had at that age. That's for sure.
That's the goal, though, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right, Leon. Well, what can the fans expect from you next? I know you're super busy, so what can we look out for? Because we definitely have to support you.
I have a movie that just premiered at Lincoln Center called The Rhythm and the Blues, where I play the great blues artist Eddie Taylor, one of the blues artists that we don't know about that we should. And I just finished the movie in London, where I star. It's a Christmas movie with a really great story. I can't give you the title because they said I can't do that right now.
Okay.
But it was good to balance things out because they come over here and take all our work. So I figured, let me get over there and get one day role.
Preach. Okay, those good guys take all the jobs over here. They lose that accent real quick for that check.
Yeah, exactly. And going out with my band for the summer.
Okay. Oh, I did tell you I was going to read a couple comments. I know we have a couple more minutes before you have to go. Aqua says, Leon is daddy fine. Rosanna says, Leon is in the building. Asha said, my baby daddy. He is not your baby daddy. And Denise said, he has swag for days. Philip says, I'm definitely watching this season. And Manny said, it's so many stars on your show. It's all love in the comments to you, Leon. So thank you. You've been a staple.
I really appreciate that. And one thing about the baby daddy thing, that's really scary because I remember making an appearance at a junior high school.
Uh-huh.
It was like girls 13, 14 talking about he's my baby daddy. And I'm like, yo, wait a second now. Yo, what are you saying? Do you even know what you are saying?
It's the smooth talking. It's the voice. So let's get into it. Are you single or are you somebody's baby daddy outside of Cynthia?
Well, I'm not Cynthia's baby daddy. I am Cynthia's baby daddy.
You used to be. That's what I'm saying. So is there somebody else?
Oh, yeah, of course. I would hope so. Shoot. I mean, somebody got to get to me. Somebody got to get to me.
He's living real good in New York City.
Yeah, he is.
Claudia probably think no one's got to me because I don't go out nowhere. So,
Okay. Well, you keeping it discreet, whatever you got going on. So that's good. That's a classy thing. That's very nice. Okay.
Well, I've always been a private person, and I know your job is to spill the tea, so I can't give y'all any tea now.
No, and you should. I, as your friend, I would recommend that. That's good. Leave a little something to the imagination for these people. Keep them salivating for more. Well, we'd like to thank you, Leon, for chatting with us. It's definitely been a pleasure having you on the show. The soulmates are just beyond themselves, and actually, so is everybody on the panel here. So thank you so much for being here. Make sure y'all stream The Chi Season 6 episodes Fridays on Paramount Plus with Showtime. Coming up next, Ebony K. Williams says she's looked at as a man in a skirt. And later, Tory Lane's wife files for divorce. That's straight ahead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn. And she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single? Asking for a friend.
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
Welcome back to TGIF. If you're enjoying tonight's show, put some flames in the chat. And if you are just joining us now, put some flames in the chat if you want to run it back and watch our interview with the fabulous actor and singer Leon, because he just did a great job on our show. Rewatch it tomorrow on YouTube. All right, y'all. Ebony K. Williams recently stated, a lot of young ladies out here are men in skirts. I look as feminine as possible because I'm trying to visually overcompensate for what I know is a default masculine posture that I walk through the world with every day. She said a thing right there. Now, why do people think that masculinity is exclusive to men? And do you agree with Ebony's perspective? Al, what do you think?
I think that that's her perspective, and she has a right to her perspective. I understood what she was trying to say, but I grew up and were raised by a totally different type of strong, boisterous leader type of Black women. My mother and sisters are very much leaders in the community, in the church, in the school system, and school administration, and all that great stuff. But they were still very much ladies, And I think what threw me in the conversation was her saying that referring to herself as men in skirts. When I looked at my mom and my sisters and how they've navigated, I never thought that they were men in skirts. I thought they were strong, beautiful women and mothers and leaders. And they were also very feminine and very ladylike at the same time.
Okay, Mom, what are your thoughts?
I just personally feel like we get to this phase and we want to make everything a man versus woman issue. Like a woman being strong and powerful and doing her job does not mean she's masculine. That means maybe she's just doing what she needs to do to get ahead. Maybe she's a strong, hardworking, successful person. Why does that have to be a masculine energy? I just feel like that's crazy to me. And this further tries to perpetuate this narrative that woe is me as a woman. The man is doing such a dirty job in America that we have to do it all ourselves. And now we are wearing the pants. No, you have a mind of your own, and you're a strong-willed woman, and you're successful, and you happen to be single. It is what it is. I just don't like that because everything is not a masculine and feminine thing. Something is just a person thing. You know what I mean? And I just feel like her doing that creates this divide that we don't need. It's an unnecessary divide and an unnecessary conversation.
I think she's addressing the fact that that's how she's perceived, because obviously she's not a masculine woman. She's a very feminine, beautiful woman. I think people are confusing or conflating being a strong person or independent or self-sufficient with being masculine. And I've heard that before, that argument. Well, you don't need nobody because you got your stuff together. And I'm like, yes, I still want that. And people will write you off if you're a successful woman, because back in the day when our mothers were, getting married or raising us, it was a different dynamic than things are now. Men were in the house, they would take care of home, and they were allowing that space for you to be extremely feminine. I think when a woman is out there on her own making it happen, a lot of times she maybe has that aggressive, attitude, go get her. But I agree with you. I don't think that means that she should be deemed masculine, but somehow success has been deemed a masculine trait, which I think is bananas. I think that is crazy that has become that way, because it should just be a good human trait that you're a go-getter. You want to take care of yourself.
But again, like we've talked about in this show, there's a lot of women too. We got to decide what we want though, women, right? Because there's also that thing where women want to feel like they can infiltrate male-dominated masculine spaces and they should be celebrated as such. So it's like, you got to pick and choose what you want. Like, do you want to be a firefighter? Do you want to wear the pants or do you not? Like, which one is it?
Give me an example.
Are you going to be the strong Black woman? Or are you going to be the subdued girl? Are you going to be soft and cunt? Like, which one is it?
Do you think she doesn't want to be?
No, I do, but I think the messaging could be a little bit confusing because it makes it seem like, if you're strong, then all of a sudden you're wearing the pants and you shouldn't happen to be wearing the pants. But then you have women who literally fight to be in masculine spaces. So some women want to be perceived that way and some women don't. And I don't think that this was the right conversation. It just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm not a woman, so I don't get it, but I knew we were going to get here with this conversation because I'm just not feeling it. I just feel like it creates a divide.
Delvin says Ebony's energy seems to be a little too strong-willed, and that might turn men off if they want to lead her. And Justin Never Says Die says, no man calls a woman masculine because she takes care of herself. Stop the BS. No, that's not true. I've definitely seen it. Brandon says, women are being called men and men are being called sassy. That is true too. It's like, it's all over the place right now. All right, moving on. The Uvalde mass shooting that took place at Robb Elementary School is still making headlines 2 years later. The families are now suing FedEx and UPS for shipping the weapons to the mass shooter, Salvador, and feel they should be held accountable. They too. Do you feel these companies should be held liable for breaking their own regulations? Al, what do you think?
Listen, I think that those families are not going to get those kids back. And so if this is a way to ease their pain and their emotional distress, those companies need to ante up for breaking the law and transporting something that should have never been transported through their company. I totally understand, and I applaud their lawyer for even examining this avenue for them to regain some type of some money for their emotional distress for losing their child that they will never be able to have come back.
Okay, Mom, what do you think?
I agree with Al. Great angle by that lawyer. And stupid move by FedEx and UPS to put that in their clause, because if you ask me in real time, in real life, absolutely not. I'm not paying for this. I'm just shipping it off. You sue the store that the idiot bought it from and you deal with it. I'm just the sender and the shipper. I don't want nothing to do with it. But because they put that in their clause, then now they're liable too, and now they're going to be sued for damages and emotional distress and everything else. So now they should pay. But if you ask me, absolutely not. I don't think that they should pay if that clause wasn't in there.
Oh, but the clause is, and I think they should. I mean, I think those parents, the way they were treated by the police, and they waited so long to go up in there. And, you know, the fact is I live here in Texas, and that school was a predominantly Latino school. There was a lot of white kids in that school, and a lot of the police officers were stopping the parents that said, I will go in myself and go get my kid. They held those parents at bay, did not let them in, and let those parents hear the gunshots and hear the sounds of their kids being demolished by high-powered weapons. So if you had any part in getting those weapons to this nut job that ended up shooting all these kids, then I say go for it. I'm glad that clause is in there, because now you have to reconsider, like, are you going to be maybe screening your packages better? And maybe you'll think twice about it. But yeah, it's in there and they have to pay. Brandon's, okay. All right, friend of the show, Monique and Lee Daniels have teamed up again on a new film. The Deliverance will air August 30th on Netflix. Fox Soul and T.S. Madison played a role in reuniting them. Remember, we had her on here. Are you excited to support their new film? And are there any friendships that you wish to reconcile with? Armand, let's go to you first.
Let me tell you something. I think that this is great. And I think that this shows growth. And I think anytime people can come together after beef and trauma and really get to the root of things and show growth and then do amazing work together, I'm here for it. So shout out to Monique, shout out to Lee Daniels. And I'm all about reconciling if there's things that can be reconciled. Like, I love making amends with people. I'm not one of those people that harbor hate in my heart. Now, if we've gone too far to a level where it's no return, then absolutely not. But if there's a place where it's like, hey, it wasn't that serious and we can talk about it and we can make strides forward, absolutely, because it takes more energy for me to harbor anger, disdain, and hate in my heart than it is for me to be like, you know what, cool, let's move on.
That's right. All right, Al, what are your thoughts on this?
You know what? This is why we love Lee Daniels so much. And I have loved watching and experiencing and having a front seat as the evolution of his maturity has come in this entertainment space. I love the fact that he not only came forth through the Fox Soul platform and talked about it, but now he's righting a wrong because he sees how it affected Monique. And now he's saying, you know what, I can't give you the money back right now, but what I can do with you as a person in power is I can help you make money with me again. That to me is putting your money where your mouth is, and I love it.
All right, what about the other part, the reconciling thing? Anybody, any thoughts on that?
No, I'm still working on that. I'm not as mature. I am a Gemini, and I take my friendships very serious. So when you cross the line with me, especially when I give a lot in my friendship, it's going to take time for me. And most of the time, I figure out in my head that maybe I shouldn't have been a friend with that person in the beginning.
I hear you. Maisha said, Armand, are you willing to make...
No.
You saw that? Okay.
Well, what were you gonna say? I didn't get it.
That's part of the gone too far.
What is?
They're
It had
asking. Yeah, I don't, if he doesn't want me to, if he doesn't want me to read it, I won't read it out loud. It's okay. I think this is amazing. It does seem that it does show that Monique probably did have a point with what was happening between them, and that's good that he's making up with her and they're making up with each other, especially after saying such crazy stuff, right? And as far as like reconciling with friends, this year has been a year of me squashing any kind of misunderstandings with people, and there's been a few people that they were surface level issues. They weren't anything like. When it comes with my friendships, when I'm betrayed and I feel like you've gone behind my back and you betrayed me, you've hurt me, try to get me fired, try to get with my dude or stuff like that. That's something that I'm like, you mess with my livelihood, or like something that I really love my heart. If it's like surface level stuff, like, okay, I misread something you said, or your tone seemed off, or whatever.
Or like when we got into it on the air.
I definitely agree with what you said about that, Claudia. When you mess with somebody's livelihood, definitely hard to come back from that.
Well, I'm the type that actually gives livelihood to people, and there's like a lot of friends that I've definitely put in position, and I enjoy doing that, and I hope to be able to do that for more years. Like I want to do that. I actually get something out of that without the parade. I don't need a parade for me. But I just feel like it makes me feel. I mean, you and a lot of other people, and I enjoy that. I love to see that. But when that happens, I think you have to value that. And I'm going to continue to have this year be the year of squashing beefs that can be squashed. All right. But keep it locked, because coming up next, find out Chrisette Michele, who Chrisette Michele might be in a relationship with. And later, a woman committing fraud is going viral. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and like jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. Like, he's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
Welcome back to the show. All right, let's get into this new couple alert. Oh, wow. It's looking like Chrisette Michele and Bobby V might be a new couple after posting to their social media. It's not the first time Bobby posted the singer. Are y'all ready for this hard launch? Armand, what do you think?
Absolutely not. So what is she going to do when, he falls down, when he ends up dating a woman with low-hanging fruit? Because we all know that it's the Snickers. This is why I can't drink. Bobby Valentino likes a woman with a little piece of candy and nuts on the side. Okay, and this is no secret. This is no allegedly. We know this to be a fact. And at the end of the day, I just think that women, Chrisette Michele, you should not put yourself in this position because at some point he does like to hire, transgender prostitutes and escorts, and he may do it again, because they have something that you just simply cannot provide, and that's the male genitalia. And at some point, he may decide to go down that route again, and you are going to be upset, crying on live, and feeling like, wow, I'm a Black woman that has tried to date a man, and he's gay on me, but Bobby Valentino is gay. It's been all over the news. You've seen all the stories, and so you cannot be upset when you find out that Bobby Valentino is now cheating on you with the woman with low-hanging fruit.
Is it all her fault, though? Because he knows he likes what he likes, and he's trying to get after her, too. It can't just all be her fault, is it?
I mean, he's a joke, clearly. Have you not seen the stories on him? Like, he doesn't pay the women. He falls out with the women. It's a whole thing. And so he's just doing his big one. If you allow a man to fall into place with you and you're going to give him a different look and you're going to help him revive his career, this is a benefit for him to sit next to her because now all those rumors can kind of be to the wayside. This is not good for her.
I'm tired of these fake relationships. Like, be with who you want to be with. Okay, Al, what you think? I mean,
is this? I want to say for just allegedly, right? Or is all of this documented? Because
this is not allegedly. I've covered the story and I've seen it.
Okay.
I've got the videotapes.
Okay, got it. I saw the videotape, but I thought he said he thought alleged. It was a woman, right? So I want to say, hopefully it's alleged. Well, you just debunked everything I was coming on here to say, because I was going to say that they make a beautiful couple. I'm a sucker for Black love. They both can sing. They're very vocal. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't think Chrisette Michele has been in the business so long. She's had to have seen if Armand said he's very aware of it. I'm sure she's seen this stuff and they've had a conversation and she's decided that she wants to move forward. And if that's her choice, I'm going to support her.
Armand, TJ said, Armand went there and Kelly says, well, maybe she knows and is okay with it. And then Jared said he likes women with the meat stick. And this is all, even though Armand, I know you do like great research and stuff, but I have to say allegedly, Fox Soul, allegedly, I mean, I don't heard the stuff on the streets too, but we got to say allegedly. Yeah. But does she believe in this stuff? Do you think she believe in this? Or is it like a look? Is it just for a time?
I mean, did she not see the video of Bobby Valentino running out of the hotel room? Anyway.
Chrisette Michele, do you want to come on the show and talk about this, or Bobby? We're going to have to reach out to y'all. All right. Well, okay. On the other hand, I'm sick of y'all. We have a Hollywood breakup alert to report. We got to balance it out here. Tory Lanez is known for being short, but now he will be known for an even shorter divorce. His wife, Rainey Chasing, has filed for divorce from the tiny singer after not even 1 year of marriage. Is this small to a giant, or do you think this will really impact him, especially while he's in prison? Armand, I know you did a lot of coverage on this and you're a documentary, so I feel like you're the expert on this. What do you think?
First of all, I didn't even know that she was married to him. This has got to be recent. This is after the court case. The last time I seen her, I had a camera in her face and she was running away from the camera. I just thought that she was the baby mom. Now, to me, I feel like this marriage was not legit in the first place. I feel like maybe they got back together because, I don't know, she was trying to keep him from having to go back over to Canada, or maybe he just feel like, hey, you were the only one that was supporting me during the trial. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like they weren't together then. And so I'm not surprised that they're not together now because they were just mother and father. So to me, I'm actually shocked that they even got married. Like, when did this happen? So I'm not surprised that this didn't last.
When they go to jail, they do want to get a wife to have some little connection to the outside. So maybe it was a in-jail marriage. I don't know. Al, what do you think?
I think that they've been together or have known each other for a long time, almost 10 years. They have a 7-year-old child together. She was there with him every day, right, Armand? You covered it.
He was there.
She was there every day with him, and I think they found some solace together and some support from somebody that he's had in his life for a long time. And, they thought getting married was a good idea until they realized that he's going to be in prison for a long time. And because he was going to be in prison for a long time, a lot of lawyers do say to their clients, hey, there are financial considerations that you have to take on now that he's in jail. There's also, legal and practical benefits that you can have that you can't have with him while he's in prison, right? Or while you're married to him and he's in prison. So I think all of these factors probably played into why they decided to separate. But I'm sure it's not over. I'm sure they're still going to be very close friends because they have a child together and they still have to raise the child.
All right, coming up, should felons have the right to vote? I mean, we got one running for president. They'll go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart to heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, soulmates, I see you in the chat. And yo, I sneezed really hard and I busted a blood vessel. It's not from these lashes, but I just want to just clear that up. Thank you for the
because of the felony charge. So I wish I would have had a lady that I can go and finagle a couple of documents so then I can get my apartment because I had the job. I just had that lingering on my back for so long. I had to wait for that to fall off. So you know what? I'm not mad at her for doing what she needs to do because she's helping somebody out there that the system is designed to take down.
That is a very real, honest, and politically incorrect answer. Thank you, Armand, for your honesty. Okay. Al, what you think?
Armand, I just gotta let. Okay. All right. So this is what I think. I think the environment that we're in, if the president can falsify documents, be a former president, and run for the president seat again, then we can't shun her but so much. I mean, she basically is doing less than what our former president and maybe our future president. So where can this discussion go?
This is a lot more common than people think. I know a lot of people that actually do this, and they're really good at it, and they get away with it. So they just keep doing it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I don't incriminate myself, but the people that I know are mine. Okay. Speaking of social media users, London West posted, if you can be a felon, and be president, they need to remove felon off all job applications and rental applications. If the highest position in the land can be taken by a felon, all positions should follow suit. I'm gonna go first on this. I 1000% are in agreement with this. The fact that we are suddenly okay with a person with multiple felons being the leader of the free world, I think it's just unbelievably irresponsible. The messaging it puts out. Remember when Obama was president? There was such an issue with him wearing a tan suit. That was his biggest scandal. And I just think it's maddening that we're still going to stop people from voting because they have a felon that maybe they did 20 years ago and not able to vote. And while the man that may be in the Oval Office has 34 of them. Al, what do you think?
Well, this is called felon disenfranchisement, and it disproportionately affects men and women of color, and especially African Americans. You can't say that the prison system is supposed to be there to rehab and reintegrate, but say, we're going to rehab you, we can allow reintegration, but you just can't vote. This is systemic racism at its finest, and if the president can't do it, then and we should follow his lead. If he's able to still vote, then the felons who have done the same crimes should be able to vote.
All right, Armand, what do you think?
Yes, I feel like be able to vote, but at the same time, you know, take the felony off of the job applications and the rental things, but still do the background check, because some people have felonies for like very egregious acts, you know, child molestation and rape and robbery and murder. And we need to know those things. But if it's something like, you know, a petty theft or a little wire fraud, then at that point, they should still be able to vote or get an apartment and get a job. You know what I mean?
I would definitely be okay with, at the very least, falsifying documents, like the charges that Trump got. At the very least, make it like lift those restrictions. If you want, yes. I do want to know if someone is a rapist or a murderer. I do want to know that, I to your point. But at the very least, if this man's in the office and there's people who can't get a job or whatever, or can't vote that have similar charges, at the very least, get rid of those. All right, y'all. A woman on social media posted an interesting question regarding gay men when looking for a man. Take a look.
I wonder if gay men say, I want a man like my father. Because what's their point of reference? Because how they know what type of man they want?
All right. Have you or any of your gay or bisexual male friends ever said that they desire to have a man like their father? Oh, my God, this question. All right, Al, what do you think?
If I'm honest, I got to say that a lot of the characteristics from both my mother and my father, because I come from a very strong family structure, I want those characteristics in whether I'm dating a man or a woman. They took parenting very serious. They took life very serious. They took job very serious, and they always wanted the best. So I think, of course, I look for great characteristics that I grew up in that environment. I look for that in all my mates.
Okay, Armand, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, for me, I'm probably a little sensitive when it comes to this, and this might go a little left, but I get so triggered when I hear women use the term gay men. And I don't really know what I want you to say because there's nothing else to say. We are gay men. But I just feel like there's just like this homophobic undertone to it, and maybe I'm just too immature to understand. But anyway, my idea is, of course, I look up to my dad. My dad has always been a support system. He bought his first house at 21, you know, and he's been a hard worker. You know, the people in my family, my stepmom never had to work through the 30 years they've been married. We've done the family trips to school. My dad was able to pay for lawyers for me when I got in trouble. We did the Disneylands every year. So I would love to be like my father because we've never wanted for anything. And under my father's leadership, I've never lived in poverty. You know, I've always went to the great schools. We've always lived in a home, you know, so I've been able to see amazing things. And then even with my mom's a dreamer. She inspires me, you know, and she's a hard worker. She has her own business. So I look up to both of my parents. And so for me, my point of reference would most definitely be my father. Maybe he just didn't understand the gay thing, but you know, I still would take all of him. I would take everything.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear.
Armand, I will say, as a straight woman that has used the term gay man, it's no shade for me. I'm trying to be respectful. Like all the other words that people used to say, we have banished them, and rightfully so. And we think that's the most respectful thing to say. So I don't know. And if there's a word that you would like to be referred to, that makes you, just let me know, because I don't think it's like disdain. Now, the other words I can see people saying the F word and all that, you know what I mean? But like gay man, okay. But I don't want you to feel that way, though. But all right. Okay, y'all. I want to thank our guest, Leon, for stopping by. And I think all the soulmates will agree. I want to also thank my co-host, Al Reynolds, and Armand Wiggins for joining me tonight. Please, thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. I hope you run it up to tomorrow like y'all did today. The numbers were off the chains. Thanks. Stay tuned for Fox. So Face Off. We'll see you tomorrow.